Hi, you're listening to Bounce Forward with me, Tiff. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording this podcast, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to elders past and present. Danielle sent me a fantastic question this week. I've been following your Bounce Forward journey ever since you had Arnold. It would be great to hear a more in-depth story about your Bounce Forward journey with Vader and exactly how you did it. Gosh, I don't know where to start. Vader, yes, I anticipated, and I was going into this pregnancy thinking it's going to be different. You're going to be able to control your weight better and the pressure on your joints. And, I just thought you can control this, Tiff. But what happened? I couldn't control it. I couldn't control my hormones. I couldn't control the water retention. And again, I found myself putting on more weight than I did with my first pregnancy. And again, I was just struggling. So although I was very sick with Arnold, I didn't have a very sick pregnancy with Vader. I had a very good birth, a vaginal birth with both babies, and the birth was pretty much a breeze. I think, I was in full labor at 3:00 in the afternoon and I had Vader 20 minutes later. I think it was 5 pushes and she was out. Not an easy birth. Of course, it was painful and it was a lot of effort, but it was a straightforward birth. I think what was hard with my bounce forward journey with Vader was the fact that I had again put on so much weight, and I have arthritis in my knees, and 1 kilogram of weight gain equates to 4 kilos of pressure in your knees. So if I'd put on 40 kilos, that is so much pressure on my knee joints. And I found myself just after I'd had Vader needing to have a knee operation. Now, I had a newborn. I had a little boy starting school. He was in prep. And I was then having to have this operation and be on crutches. How do you carry a newborn with crutches? This was my dilemma. And so everyone kind of said, oh, you had a bounce forward journey and it's amazing the results you got. But it was such a slow journey because I did have to put in this knee rehab in there and get a lot of support. I had, my mum's support. I actually had my PA, my personal assistant, move into my house so that she could help me up and down the stairs with the baby and help me change nappies and do all those things. I couldn't even stand up on my knee for a little bit. And I was very immobile, so I wasn't able to do much. But once I found my flow, I thought, I was about 4 months postpartum, and I looked in the mirror and I still looked pregnant. I still looked about 6 months pregnant, big bump, right? And I didn't understand why I still had a bump. And I felt like a failure because I was a personal trainer. I knew what I was doing, and yet I wasn't getting the results. And so I went and saw a women's health physio. I was like, what is going on here? Why do I still look so pregnant? And it's sort of like the mum tum, but my mum tum was very exaggerated. I didn't fit into any of my clothes. I couldn't do up any pants. Everything had to be soft and loose tie waistbands and things like that. And I got talking to the physio and I just was crying, saying, I am so overwhelmed by all the information out there. I can't imagine how people who aren't trainers feel. I'm a trainer and I'm overwhelmed. So I loved this physio, and we decided to create a program called MumBod that broke down exactly what you need to do after you have a baby. And I started rehabbing my core with Bec Liberatore, the women's health physio, and we created MumBod. And my body started to transform because I didn't realize I was working my upper abdominals. And when your upper abdominals are too tight, imagine you've got a balloon and you squeeze the top of the balloon, the bottom bulges out. So I needed to work the lower abdominals more and the pelvic floor. And this is what I did for months and months and months with Bec Liberatore, with the support of my community and my family. And very, very slowly, my shape started to change. I was eating the strength program on TXO. Now, the strength program, I was eating the strength one because I was breastfeeding and needed the more calories, and it's breastfeeding friendly. And I found that really easy because the food was mapped out for me every day. I knew what I needed to do. I could prep. I could organize myself. I didn't have to think about it because there's enough to think about with school runs and activities and little kid birthday parties on the weekends and swimming and soccer and taekwondo and hip hop dance lessons that my son wanted to do. And then I had a newborn with her sleep schedule and her nap schedule and her nappy changes and her feeds changes. And then we're moving on to solids. And there was so much going on at that time. Plus I was running a big company. I forgot to mention that. And I was so flat out. So I didn't want to think about my food. So I did the TXO plan and I did the mum bod exercise. And then at the end of it, that's how I bounced forward with Vader. And I very, 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 very slowly over 2 years have lost 40 kilos. And I mean, it's taken me 2 years. Vader turned 2 on the 30th of May. And I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I wish that I had done it faster? Probably. Everyone wants to lose weight fast, but I'm here to tell you that there is no quick fix. There is no magic pill, and that you do need to just take it incredibly slow and do the basics that work. Drink more water, eat a balanced meal full of rainbow colors, and load up on the vegetables and the nutrients and the protein so that you're full for longer, and do 15 to 20 minutes of workouts a day. And I did 15 minutes, mum bod workouts of 15 minutes, and I could fit that in. And that's where we ended up. So anyone out there who's looking to bounce forward, not bounce back, but bounce forward to a stronger version of you, you have to take the pressure off yourself. Have self-compassion, because I did get very self-critical and I did look at other people, and I was falling into the comparison trap, which is the thief of joy. And I was, looking at other trainers who do my job in the media, online fitness professionals who had regained their shape and their pre-baby bodies so quickly. And I did feel bad about it sometimes. I did feel like I was failing. So you do have to be kind to yourself and not compare, and really say to yourself, I'm bouncing forward. And for me, having that mentality where I would realize a bounce back thought, oh, that's a bounce back thought, short circuit it and say, I'm doing a bounce forward journey. I'm taking my time with self-compassion. That was the important thing for me, reframing negative thoughts around the bounce back, toxic self-talk. And that's what's really helped me. So I hope that it helps you. Thanks so much for listening to Bounce Forward. I love having your company. So please DM me on Instagram at tiffhall_xo and let me know what topics you'd love me to cover. Don't forget to rate and review me on your podcast app. Speak soon. Happy days.